You want to see me drink rum? Send me a topic.
Starting off with our Bunty dark rum from St. Lucia. This is one of the top drinks in St. Lucia from my good friend over there, Charlie. Um, we're gonna see what this is like today. It's a premium rum from St. Lucia. The percentage today is 43%.
43, man.
43, you know.
43%.
Yeah, so
43.
43.
43.
Brother.
I know, innit? I know. So today's episode is actually, we had a little sponsor coming through. So Baron Shipping, Brokerage Inc. in St. Lucia, where their service matters, sponsored today. So thank you, Baron Shipping, for the bottle of Bounty.
Yeah, Baron.
Yeah,
Bless up.
appreciate it, man.
Bless up, Baron.
Yeah, and anytime you want to sponsor us again, yeah, just email us and then, yeah, you can get a little plug. Anyone wants a sponsor, email us to get a plug.
And if you all want anything shipping, check out Baron Shipping.
Yeah, I like that. If you want shipping, check the Baron Shipping.
Check out the shipping, man.
Yeah, yeah. So, Mac, what we have today, man? What's our first?
Well, first on
topic, bro.
our topic today is mindfulness. I think mindfulness is an important thing for everyone, not just for us, for everyone. It's one of the things that we tend to overlook. Every day we see people going about, smiles, or not even smiling. And, it doesn't matter what you're wearing or how you look, everybody's tend to have, something that sort of worries them. So again, I think, it's important we touch on this topic so that, we perhaps can highlight a few things for our viewers as well to sort of, see that we're not on the same page, but we all understand that, we're all human. And every now and again, we're going to need a bit of a self time to reflect.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, true.
And on the backdrop of that, a bit of statistics. Recent statistics show that there's an increase, especially in England, for suicide, especially in railway. A lot of people, find themselves standing or jumping in front of trains, and ending their lives. And they show that there is a lot that goes on within the mindset of people.
Yeah.
According to stats, again, 1 in 4 person in Britain have some mental illness. So again, I think this is so important that we actually touch on this, not just the Caribbean food and everything, but it's an everybody.
Drinks and your rum and
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no, gil. Yeah.
It's all, yeah, it's all, yeah, I agree. And the thing is, like I said to people when they ask about Rum and Reason, the rum is just to start the conversation. It's not what we focus on.
Mhm.
It's not like, we get drunk and thing. We just having a conversation as mates
True
with
that.
a taste of rum. That
Yeah,
is it. But
that's
going
it.
back to that mindfulness thing, like when you hear mindfulness, bro, what does that say to you? Like, what do you think mindfulness means?
I think mental health. I mean, looking after yourself mentally.
Mm.
Making sure that you need to make sure that you good. Because if you ain't good, then nobody else could be good.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I always say you can't give 100% if you're operating on 10. So mindfulness is
Exact-
being mindful of oneself.
Yeah.
Every now and again, just check to see where you sit mentally. So recently, like, I mean, last year was like a traumatic time for me, my family, and that. And I had to, like as black men, you always say as men, we always say to ourselves, we just keep going through it. We just plow on. I got no time to cry. I got no time to do this. The next thing you know, boy, you have a backlog of emotions you have to deal with, and you feel overwhelmed.
Very
So
true.
with mindfulness, is just taking that time, even though it's like a 10-minute thing, and just breathe, bro, because that takes you back to what they call homeostasis.
True.
Yeah, so it takes your body, your brain to a baseline of where you're on a level. Even Ferraris need a time in a pit stop.
Yeah, very
Everybody.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that takes us to like that place where our mind, our whole body itself, our blood pressure can just level out, and we can move forward and tackle things. So it's very important to do mindfulness, and I think that there is a good topic to catapult or to start off this podcast today, man.
Brilliant. And as I say, it affects both men and women differently.
Yeah.
Mm.
Let's focus on the men today. I think we should focus on the men. Advocate for the
I
men.
mean, to be fair, there's a lot out there for women. Men in general, the stigma in society.
I think there's a lot out there for men as well.
There's a lot for men, but
we
the
just don't
stigma in
take it on.
society tend to sort of overlook or underlook these things. Because how easy is it for, and this is not just being sexist or anything, but how easy is it for a woman to be in tears and somebody to comfort her, to say,
Yeah,
true.
what's up,
Yeah.
what's wrong,
Yeah.
as opposed to a man to be in tears. He find it hard to actually break down in tears because that's not what society expects.
Yeah.
of him.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
that's
he's
it.
gonna
Yeah.
bottle that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and for him to actually find somebody to really reason with and talk to, it's
Mm.
difficult because again, a woman can reason with a woman easily. She can even reason with a man. Now,
Mm.
can a man really come to a part that where he can reason his issues with a woman to a level that she can understand where he's coming from? Maybe yes, but depending on what.
Yeah.
Because again, what energy he have inside ready to put out might not be ready for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jill,
sure.
what's your opinion on that, bro?
I agree. I mean, as men, we don't speak. As I said before, we do bottle up a lot of our emotions, and then it all comes out at once. Could either be in anger,
Mm.
or, as he said, suicide. But me personally, I am like that at times because I don't really speak. I don't really speak much anymore because life has kind of made me made me kind of quiet. Life has kind of made me kind of quiet, and
Humble.
yeah, life has humbled me.
Yeah.
So I'm very quiet. I don't really speak.
Yeah.
It's like I've
What-
like
When you say quiet, like as in humble, like you appreciative and you know how it's going, or
no, not like that. It's just like speaking out. Expressing my emotions because it come like I have a superficial friend.
Mm-hmm.
I have a superficial character.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
For people that when they meet me, they meet that person.
Yeah.
And then I have another character from my family.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
that one bears scars,
Mm-hmm.
and he's quite protective
Mm-hmm.
with them scars and kind of thing. And then I have another one from my friends
Yeah.
that bring all the happiness and the best in me, But throughout life, I kind of learned that, you with your friends and this and that, but you keep your sadness to yourself because people don't want to hear your burdens because then in case it affects them and in case they take it on kind of thing.
Yeah.
True.
Vicarious trauma, innit?
Yeah,
Yeah.
very true. And yeah, that's why I don't really speak anymore because sometimes, well, most of the times at the end of the day, I am all that I have,
Mm.
And people would say like even a lot of times when you're on the group chat and you're like, yeah, don't bear all this by yourself and this and that. I'm like, yeah, I understand. Yeah, I know what people are trying to do, what you're trying to do, even family members, other friends, this and that. And I don't know, it's just like, I've got it, but I ain't got it,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
A typical
Yeah.
man reaction.
Yeah,
Man
typical
reaction.
man reaction.
Yeah, I'm
kind of thing,
okay, I'll figure it
I
out.
have it,
Yeah.
I could sort it out myself.
Yeah.
But the majority of the times, you really can't, and you just stick it to the back of your mind,
Bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not easy being, with a woman. A woman have their own thing, but it's
Not just
it's,
women,
it's not easy.
society as well,
Like,
bro.
it's not
Yeah, it's
easy
not just
really
yeah.
being a man sometimes,
Nah.
understanding the role they play because, especially as a husband, whatever, you are the protective person.
Mm-hmm.
If anything wrong with the wife, they come to you. Anything wrong with the kids, they come to you. Anything with the house and the cars,
Money.
you are the person. But
Yeah.
when you are broken, who do you go to?
That's the thing, and I think what we do in here. That's when I said let's do this podcast. It wasn't just to, like I said, like drink rum and have a good time. It's therapy. I need this therapy, and we all three of us need this
It's that
therapy.
escape, isn't it? It's that escape
You know what I mean?
from some, I guess, not the realities of the world, but it's just an escape for us to get together and just
Breathe
talk. I
out.
mean, just breathe out and
Yeah,
chat.
yeah.
As men, we keep our emotions to ourselves, and this could be like an open forum for us to get out.
Stoic in it about it.
Yeah.
What was it Joe Rogan said in one of his podcasts that all men live life in quiet desperation, that they're in a situation that they wish they want to get out from. And when you hear people they want to unalive themselves, especially men in situations, people say, "Oh, they shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't do this, or this is what you should do." And I think in the black community, or as men, especially our backgrounds and that, yeah, we always want to tell people what they should do to get out of the situation. But
I just think
everyone's situation is different, mind you. You could be going for something, and because of past childhood trauma, your go-to is something that gives you a relief, and that's where you find people start using substances like drugs and that to kind of like numb their pain because it's a response,
Alcohol.
to a
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, but yeah,
Yeah. It's the ability to cope.
it's a coping
coping
mechanism.
mechanisms, you know.
And you know, as you rightfully say, Jay, you have different personalities.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I find that,
Everybody goes through this when you're wearing a mask, man.
you might have other people. I'm sure there are other people out there, with different. But from an ex-military perspective, I, for myself, when I left the army, I struggled to fit in civil street.
Yeah,
I really struggled. It took me a good 2 years, maybe say 3 years.
Really?
Yeah, I can relate to that.
fit in, because prior to leaving the army, my head was pretty much just being a soldier.
Yeah,
And then the nature and circumstance how I left was like sudden.
yeah.
And now you're out in civil street, things are different.
Yeah.
And the camaraderie you have in the army.
You don't have that out in civil
Yeah,
street.
the way you sort of portray ideas. You have a task to get done. A need to go to B. Let's get it done.
Yeah.
You know what to do. You know the drill.
Yeah.
Goal orientated.
When you come out in civil street and you're like, A needs to get to B, and people are like, well, no, you still need to break that down. And you'll be like, well, it cannot be any more simple than A needs to go to B.
Black and white kind of thinking.
Yeah, pragmatic view.
Yeah,
A needs to go to B. Full stop. Like that's it.
Yeah.
There is no between. And then you're like, when you push that idea, then now people figure, well, yeah, you're a bit hard. Well, you're like, well, this is common forming.
Yeah.
And then you realize, well, you need to break down everything that you know about yourself and rebuild. And that is what it took me about 2.5, 3 years to break down that and rebuild.
Yeah. See, my thing is like, same thing as you when I left, yeah. And going back to mindfulness, I didn't have mindfulness. I mean, when you're in the army, you're spoilt, innit?
Yeah.
You get paid, you guarantee get paid your wage. You're in a house. I was in a 3-bedroom house for about 120 with a garage.
You got
You know
a
what I
routine.
mean? 50 quid for your gas electric.
Yeah.
And then I used to call St. Lucia on my mobile phone. So sometimes I had like a £200 phone bill. I'd be like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have that many outgoings. But
Yeah.
come on, Civvy Street, bro. When I had my first rent payment come out, and I see, raw, that's like 5 times what I was paying, or 6 times what I was paying.
Fair enough.
When I saw like,
reality, man.
you know what I mean? When I saw the phone bill come, I said, well, when I saw Skype, I said to Sam, I said, look, yeah, let them cut everything. So Sky, cut it. So that means I can pay that off and get to a point where I can pay phone bill, let them cut it. So I can get to a point where we can manage it. And I had to break that down. Now it's the same thing. When you're in that frame of mind where you have these different personalities, you're in a survival mode. My sister had this conversation with me. And she said, she's a psychologist, and she said that we have like two people or two main personalities, where we have one that's based on survival and we have the real one. Now that survival one can split up into various personalities where when we interact with people at work, we have to make that money. We have to be that person. When we meet with our friends, and these friends sometimes, if their friends earning more money than us, or they're more affluent than us, or they're brighter personalities than us, we compensate. So that's one personality. When we're walking in public, and I've noticed, I said to Sam, when we went out to Bristol, I said, notice now, a lot of young men, when you see them walking, their heads are down in their phone. You don't see young men now with their shoulders back and
No.
For us, that's pride, isn't it?
That's kind of pride thing.
Yeah. For us, that's pride. You chin up, your chest up.
Yeah, and you push, you go forward.
You're going forward.
True.
No.
These days, a lot of people, they're just stuck in their own little worlds,
Their little bubble.
Their own little bubble, and they're just going by, just going past, going through life in their own little bubble. I mean, they're probably going through the same issues that we have, but people these days, they don't really with it.
And society sometimes, the way how society is structured, it sort of, I wouldn't say it allow mental or say mental health issues anyway, but again, it's resilience. Now, if you go places where like war-torn countries, the resilience for their kids is different.
Yeah, it's different.
Because the environment and the trauma is
different. They're already being traumatized. Well, how else can you traumatize?
Yeah, true.
Nothing can bother them.
So they'll be able to take on a lot more.
Yeah. They're waking up to bombs and rest of it, and seeing from a very young age people they know die.
Yeah.
Blood everywhere. And then you come in a situation where, okay, you have a shoe's broken,
Mm.
still can go on your foot.
Yeah.
But
Appreciation, huh?
you're still going with that.
It's
Or you
best-
have a phone,
Yeah.
you drop it,
Yeah.
you still go with that. You know, but here,
Mm.
people like, you know, the easy stuff.
It's
Yeah.
perspective, though, Jay. You don't think?
It's
Yeah.
perspective. It's perspective. Because I mean, we come from the Caribbean.
Mm.
You know, it's not the easiest of places. You know, it's over in the UK or in America, you won't get certain things back in the Caribbean like you'll get over here. You know, so we'll come across here and we'll be like, this person is saying, "Oh, f my life, my
Yeah.
life is over," and I'm like,
You haven't even started.
"You haven't even started." You know, oh, this and that, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yo, you lot need to calm down. You don't even know what the struggle is. You don't know what this is. You don't know
Yeah.
what that is."
Yeah.
So, I guess it all comes down to where you kind of grow up in. Because if you grow up in a really hard place, your resilience will be quite
Different.
tougher.
Yeah.
And
hard
if you grow up
resilience.
wrapped in cotton wool
Mm.
and getting everything, and you're very privileged and this and that,
Life is a bit different.
you know, by the time something happens to you, you can't start saying, "Oh my God, it's the end of the world,"
Yeah.
you know?
That's why when I was kind of part of that when things were handed down to me. For a
Mm.
long time, I was the only child growing up and that coming up here and that. So like that was spoiled, like really spoiled. And I think coming to the army and that, it's kind of like it took about basic training to shift that kind of thinking.
Mm.
And then now I'm more appreciative, like, and situations are more robust. Even like now, I've gotten to a point where I don't apologize for me for being me, who I am. Before I used to worry about like what other people would think if I was to be assertive, you know, and goes back to that thing about that character that you playing.
Yeah.
Like before in the Caribbean, people in the Caribbean don't put water in their mouth to
No,
tell
you
you something.
don't.
That's when you go back to St. Lucia, say, you get fatty.
Straight.
Everything.
Straight.
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
fat, you got fat.
Mm.
But people over here, you have to
say
pussyfoot.
fluffy.
You have to
Big
pussyfoot
bum.
around it.
You need to
And-
consider people emotions.
Emotional
not
that. So
a lot.
Yeah,
Exactly, being political correct.
and I think as Caribbean men as well, that there is not in our DNA. We're bold-faced, we feisty, we say it as we see it.
Mm.
Now, with all of that, we have to process and kind of compartmentalize. How do you guys like do mindfulness to keep that balance, keep those characters at bay, or keep an eye on you and how you're feeling? What's Matt? What's your
Well,
mentality?
interesting question, because I was gonna, ask, what do you do for yourself? I don't know if I mentioned this previously on the podcast, but a couple of weeks ago, in my team where I'm working, the associate director, because he's like, he's a team
Yeah.
manager anyway. So we had a Friday, every Friday we have a team meeting,
Yeah.
and one of the questions he asked was, what do everybody? He wants to know what we all do for, mental well-being.
Mm.
And
That's good though. It's good that a company, is actually getting into that kind of thing. Because if you don't have happy workers, business ain't gonna prosper. But yeah, carry on, go
Nah.
on.
and the employees are your biggest asset.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. So we asked a question, and I wasn't like the first person to answer, because obviously it's about 9 of us taking rounds,
Mm.
and it was interesting that some people, they answer the question like, yeah, I go for a walk, I walk the dog,
That's
I go
good.
for a run.
Yeah.
That's good.
Generally, everybody will do,
Mm.
and it's the answer you would expect when you ask that question anyway. But for me, it was a little different. I said to him, I give thanks and gratitude.
Mm.
And then at that time, everybody sort of like, okay, where are you going with this? So I said, well, I give thanks for seeing the sunrise,
Yeah.
because not everybody was able to see the sunrise,
Yep.
especially today.
Yeah.
If I see the sunset, I give thanks for seeing the sunset, because if you see the sunrise, you're not guaranteed you're going to see the sunset.
True.
And once you see the sunset, you're not guaranteed you're going to see the sunrise.
True.
So I give thanks for every one of those cycles that
Yeah.
I was able to see that. And the other way, I was giving gratitude,
Mm.
starting from a ground up. I have 2 legs. I'm not limited by a wheelchair.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
I have an upright back and 2
All the things that we take for granted, man.
all the things that we take for granted. So I have an upright back and 2 arms that support me in whatever things I want to do.
Mm.
I want to move a box from here to there. I can.
You're able.
I'm able.
physically able,
Yeah.
you're mentally able.
I can feed myself.
Yeah.
I have my 2 arms.
Mm-hmm.
Give gratitude for that. And most of all, have 2 good I have 2 good eyes.
Yeah.
You know, without them, what is your world like?
True.
Do you breathe when you're doing all of that? Like when you're giving thanks? What's your breathing like? Do you take your time to slowly breathe?
Slowly breathe.
That's much about what's it, homeostasis?
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question, right? Yeah, you know CBT and everything else like that. Yeah, cognitive behavioral therapy to change your behaviors from your thinking.
Yeah.
If you're not putting yourself in a mindful and thankful state, and you're always that hyped up and hypervigilant state, that means you're an agitated state and got possibly a negatively minded state.
Okay.
That will bring on negative emotions. Negative emotions bring on unhealthy behaviors. Unhealthy behaviors lead to unhealthy consequences.
Always.
You understand what I'm saying?
Always.
That's how you can break it down, yeah?
Always.
So with prayer, I had this discussion with a mate of mine. I said like, because I started praying, like really praying now, and it's helping with my mindfulness and my way of thinking and looking at things, right? And I'm breathing. So that there is my CBT, my deep breathing, my mindfulness. So I said to him, is prayer a form of CBT then? Because it changes the way you look at things. Because if you were to say to yourself, Mac, yeah, oh, this freaking job, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that, immediately in a negative state of mind.
Exactly. Yeah.
The fact that you're praying and you're doing your breathing and you're thanking things, that put you in a positive state of mind as affect you. Ever realize that when you go for a nice run, because I know you love running, Jay. Yeah, loves PT.
I run when I get told to. I won't go and run just by myself, just like that.
But before you go on, I think you're going similar area where I was going to with this. Once I finish saying what I was saying to the team about giving thanks for the eyes, and without your eyes, you can see the world for what it is. You don't know what color is, you don't know what warm is, you don't know what
You're oblivious, isn't it?
love is. Because your eyes give you a lot of everything. You get to see people sad, you get to see people happy. You see somebody happy, of course you're gonna be happy. Happiness is contagious.
Yeah,
true. You can see somebody happy. Somebody smile at you, they don't know you, they smile at you, you smile back.
No, you see, all right.
I guess all emotions are contagious.
Yeah. But
what I'll say about you see when people see you happy, it's contagious. The same time, ever realize like when you're happy, you smile at someone, they look at you like, what the hell are you looking at?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, you know what that is? Because you're happy and you're positive, and you smile at them, it makes them feel like they're vulnerable, like you see in them, because you never know, they could be going through some stuff, and then you smile at them, and immediately they get defensive.
Yeah.
Well, you might just think you're mad or something.
And that you see
that sort of increases your knowledge or your intelligence in how you deal with people, your
Emotional intelligence.
You learn from that. You see, okay, you're positive, you have a smile, you give somebody a smile, but the reaction is different.
True.
That should tell you that it's not a personal thing towards you. It's just that you get to understand this person is going through a different thing that you're going through. Now it's up to you. You can, if you really have proper communication skills and you're in the environment, to say, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
You can get people to talk easy.
Of course.
Yeah.
You say, hey.
But also be mindful that the people that pushing the most positivity are the ones that suffering a lot as well. Because people wear these masks of positivity and smiling and this and that. Look at Strangy. Remember Strangy? Yeah. Right. Happy. Before he went and do anything, I saw the man, he's happy.
Yeah.
Next thing, boom shot. Hear the man.
Yeah, he unalived himself. That's so sad.
Himself, man. Sadness. But yeah, the happiest of people, you need to watch them a bit closer, because people choose happiness to hide what's really underneath.
Everybody needs help.
Robin Williams, classic example of that. One of the most famous comedians in the world.
Yeah. And look at that. He's
suffering by drug
Jay,
addiction.
what do you do for wellness?
Me? So when I find myself coming into a bit of a mental spiral, previously what I used to do, what I stopped doing, I used to go and I used to drink alcohol. Yeah, which ain't really the best thing. Yeah, because I I am going through some stuff at the moment, personal stuff at the moment, and it is taking a toll on me. I won't discuss it on
Yes.
Yeah.
for the world to hear, but I do suffer with mental health. I'm not gonna lie to you, I do. You know, probably from childhood traumas. You know, going to Afghan, coming back, seeing things, growing up in the ghetto, this that, blah blah blah. But yeah, I do suffer with mental health. My parents know, my sisters know, my family knows. What do I do? Before I used to turn to the drink. Now I kind of cutting that off. So what do I pray.
Mm.
I'll pray, or I'm trying to get into the habit of going out for walks in nature, because people say that
Bro, yeah.
nature is a very good cure for that kind of thing. So I would get on my knees and pray. I say every night or every morning, I literally get on my knees and pray,
Yeah.
and I give thanks. I say, Lord, I come to you with a heart full of gratitude. Being able to even have this prayer and give you thanks and praise is a gift,
True.
So whenever I go through my stresses, I just be like, yo, Big G,
Yeah.
take everything from me now on, I just giving you all my stresses and worries, and I'm laying it at your feet for you to deal with. Sometimes I have my ups.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have my downs.
Yeah.
Everybody have their good days. you know?
Yeah.
I've started off with this whole gratitude and appreciation thing on a high, positive, walking out, going to work, looking at the trees, and be like, listening to the birds and this and that. And as quick as that could happen, is as quick as you could go back down into it.
True.
But you need to recognize when you're going back down, recognize what is going on. You take a little time and like, all right, cool, this is what's going on. So
I think that's one of the key things.
is recognizing it, and then being like, okay, cool, I know what is going on here. So let me try and steer this ship back on course now.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. And that's when I went through, like, a couple of years ago and last year, my therapist, I say what it is. My therapist said to me,
man.
yeah, my therapist said to me, like, the best way you could do it, yeah, for him, what he does is implement mindfulness as a daily routine in your life. He says, imagine you have a cup of water and the cup's halfway full constantly. The water represents emotion. So if you're letting your emotions pile up, that means that cup of water is getting full.
Yeah.
When something major happens and there's a surge or flood of emotions, it will just overflow, and that's where you get overwhelmed. So he says what he recommended for me was incorporate like mindfulness, that walking in nature. That's why for my aquariums and my other channel, I just do that. So it kind of levels me out. So my cup's empty.
Yeah.
So when something big happens, I'm equipped to kind of push forward with it.
Yep.
And with that, this another thing he said is kind of like them birds you see on the ocean.
Yeah.
Them gulls and that.
Yeah.
The emotion's like a wave, a surge in it.
Yeah.
And then when the emotion comes, you ever see them birds? They just ride the wave.
They just ride away from.
And he says that's the trick. You to find your way.
Yeah.
When your emotion
To
surges,
deal with. Yeah, exactly.
deal with it.
right.
That in a healthy way.
Yeah. True.
And that's
Very
a
true.
challenge. That's a challenge, bro.
It's a try.
And especially going to
challenge, man.
it's only us. And sometimes I feel like as men, no one really cares because people expect this is your role. This is what you do. I don't care what people say about like our new society and the gender. No, as men, what I've noticed working in female environment, people do not care about how you as a man.
No.
I mean, they say they do.
They say they don't.
They say they do.
No.
Don't.
I mean, as I say earlier on your podcast, if your kids aren't well, they come to you. If mommy,
they go to mommy.
if they're not well, they come to you. I mean, eventually it's going to come to you anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you are broken, where do you go?
We need us. That's why we need us. We need
Where
other
do you go?
women. We need other women.
Who will actually come? Name somebody out there who will just bring you up. Hey, what's going on? It takes another man. To do that. Hey, what's going on?
I started doing the other day. I think it was last year. I just randomly just started messaging people, just saying, "Yo, I love you." Not any kind of strange kind of kind of sexual or any.
Yeah.
Nah,
love
just,
you.
yeah,
I just reaching out, and
give them
people
the flowers.
message me back and be
Yeah.
like, "Is everything all right?" You know, because they're thinking, okay, it's kind of strange. What Jay going
Yeah, it's fine.
on a live himself or what?
Word.
You know?
Word.
I'm like, yo, no, I'm just
Yeah,
reaching out. I just showing gratitude, appreciation as for you being a friend and this and that. And some of them got back to me and were like, you know what, that actually made my day.
yeah.
No,
You saying that?
It's I did similar. Christmas.
Okay,
Mm.
We had, went home St. Vincent for holiday,
lucky.
and
You know,
well,
showing off,
it was sun, fun, and tears.
Yeah.
The mother-in-law passed away.
Yeah, that's so.
When we come back, and that's what put me in a different perspective. Like
Mm.
that day, we were
Life
having a
is
good conversation,
Life is short, bro.
and then just see her turn in front of my eyes.
Yeah.
And then there is no real coming back like that. And
You ain't no coming back
from
from
that,
that, mate.
yeah, from that though, it just sort of really made me realize, like,
yeah,
bro, things really do change. I mean, you get that from Afghanistan and so on, but sometimes, because you try to put that to the back of your head,
Mm.
you tend to
Yeah.
miss that.
and that's what I was about to ask you about that situation.
Yeah. But, falling to that, I remember I got on the phone, and like the people I know, the older folks, in my family, ring them up, hey, love you,
Mm.
Yeah, man.
love you.
Yeah.
Like, okay, what's up? So, well, through certain situations I see unfold in front of my eyes, I don't want to wait until you're lying in a box to say I miss you.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
Telling you how I
Yeah.
feel now with all appreciation.
Yeah.
I'm happy to have you here, even though it might not be everything
Mm.
or every day. I'm
Mm.
happy that you're around, that I can even have this phone call with you.
Yep. And
I
the thing is,
appreciate you.
we all get caught up in our own little bubble of life,
Yeah.
But
The hustle, innit?
yeah, you get caught up in your rat race, man. But
But
it's just
still-
that one message.
but
That one message could save somebody. Could save somebody's life.
Boy, listen, I've, the only person I've spoken to about this is my wife and my therapist, really.
Mm.
Ever find yourself as a man, and like, I would say, majority of Caribbean men, we are what I call purebred. We built for it.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? You can put like 3 bricks on each shoulder and we just carry on.
Yeah.
When my grandmother died, I was so busy ensuring that my mom was okay, my dad was okay, that I didn't grieve. That she passed away in 2009. I didn't grieve till last year,
Buddy.
bro. When I was in therapy, I was speaking to my therapist. And he said to me, "Pick someone that had a major influence in your life." First person, my grandmother.
Yeah.
When I was breaking it down, because my parents, my parents were grinding, boy. They were working. Both of them have their own companies and that, but they were working and providing. Yeah, and she was there. When I started to break it down and the effects she had on my life, the positive effects, and he said to me, "Look at your behaviors, your thinking, your isms,
Yeah.
your mannerisms, and
Mhm.
do you see any of her in you?" I'm like, you know what? Yeah. And it says, like, when people die, that's what they say our ancestors leave through us.
Yeah.
When they die, how we are as characters is a reflection of the
Exactly.
knowledge they've
Reflecting
imparted
them,
to
innit?
us.
Yeah.
That's how we remember them.
Yeah.
And bro, when I started talking about my grandmother, and I picked the biggest rock because she was holding my mom down, my dad down when
Mhm.
things were tough financially. I remember, like, things did get bad when we were starting the companies, and she would find money to buy food to cook.
Mm.
You get me? And I just started crying, bro. I was crying, just like, boy. And then when I came home, I was telling my wife about it. I started crying again.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, and it's just delayed grief.
Yeah.
And as black men or men in
Just
general,
men. Just men.
Just
It's in
men.
there,
Yeah,
it's
just
in there,
men.
it's in
Black,
there.
white, yellow,
Yeah,
whatever. Just
just
men.
hold it there, but we don't let that out until we find like something is wrong, but we cannot put our finger on it. Be like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't feel balanced. I don't feel right. I'm overwhelmed. I feel sad. I feel like depressed, or I feel all of them things, and we can't put our finger on it.
I agree with you.
And when you say that about texting people, "I love you," it did come out. I guarantee they were thinking like, "What the hell?" Because
Yeah.
it's a strange thing for a man to say like, "Bro, you know what? I appreciate you. I love
Yeah.
you."
Yeah. Very true. And as you touched on that thing with your grandmother, I haven't. My grandmother's been dead. How many years now, boy? A lot of years.
Mm.
A lot of years. And I remember that funeral. I ran out to the church, brother. Ran out to the church before she died. She wrote a letter, and my mother, we were all around the casket, And my mother started reading all the letter. And as soon as she started saying, so I bolted for the door, buddy. Bolted. And I never got over that.
Let me ask you a
I
question.
never got over my grandmother's death.
Mm.
Even today,
Yeah.
you know, I still think about it and I get emotional and I
Yeah.
just cry.
Yeah.
And I won't even say cry because I don't even really cry anymore.
Mm.
I don't really cry anymore. I would cry, and like in about 10 seconds, I'll just be like, like somebody would just be like, okay, stop crying, and I'll just be like, okay, cool, right. Why these bullshit tears and just crack on with it.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
one of my best friends, the best man in my wedding, Dominic, hello to Nicky, man, rest in peace. I was in the block, living in the block, you know, and phone call, what, 3 o'clock in the morning is I don't like to get any phone calls from back home, you know, at that hour in the morning. Oh, she passed the tea, they found him this, and I was like, what the man? And this man was real close to me,
Yeah.
like a brother. I'm the only boy in 3 girls, and he's like a brother, you know. And I cried for about, I won't even say a minute. And I just stopped, and I was like, okay, cool. What do I do now? I've never really cried since after my grandmother. I've never really shed any serious tears, man. And I don't know why that is. I think I've just trained myself to be like that now, you know. I've literally trained myself to be like that.
You know,
I find it quite sad.
you know, it's good having the army background, having the army training. It builds resilience.
Yeah, of course.
Oh yeah.
But you know, resilience could also be
a double-edged sword, bro.
It could be the sword in your back.
Yeah.
Make you void your emotions.
Because, you know, as you say, Jay, you know, you're in the army. And I'd like to get your opinion. Is you're in the army and you know you do your training and everything and you get hurt. You get hurt sometimes, you know, physically and a lot, you know, mentally and a lot of it. You get hurt, but you always get told, man up and get up.
Yeah.
You know, and with that now, yes, you build resilience, you don't let things break you down, but at the same time, when you say man up and get on with it, it doesn't allow you now to open up to anybody.
No.
You know, so with that now, as ex-military, you know, Thomas and yourself, do you find it easy to sort of open up to people and sort of talk about the things that really
I find it, well,
without being asked directly what it is?
Yeah, because I mean, was it this year, boy? Or last year. This year just started. Last year came back from lunch, sit on the desk, my laptop, my BC. He just walked past my office, and then walked back, and looked at me and he's like, "You're right." And I almost start crying, you know.
Yeah.
I was like, "Nah," and he's like, "You want to talk?" I was like, "Yeah," and went into the office. I was like, I think, you know, BSM should come in, and sat down there and just told him everything. I was emotional, you know, I wasn't blubbering, you know, and you know, I was emotional. But I told him because I was carrying this weight on my shoulder, and it weighs you down, man.
It's tiring, bro.
It's very tiring because you're not just thinking about, you're not just having to deal with your emotions. I mean, your emotions come last. You have to deal with everybody else's emotions first.
Do you think that's a healthy thing though, bro?
Is it? No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not, especially when the people who emotions they're dealing with expect you to deal with their emotions, and they don't deal with their own emotions themselves.
Yeah, because you know nobody wants to deal with the man. The man have to deal with himself and deal with everybody else.
Your emotions are yours to manage, but your emotions can be influenced by my unhealthy behaviors, and it can be influenced by my healthy behaviors as well. So if, for example, especially in the dynamics of being married, we're all married here and we use unhealthy behaviors in our relationship. If we see things differently on a particular subject and we shout at each other, or someone gets quiet, automatically your brain goes, why is that person quiet?
Mm.
Or why they shouting? And we get defensive. So you
Yeah.
can see how it influences it. But going back to that mindfulness thing, when you know, right, it's going to go into an unhealthy dimension here.
Mm.
Look, just give me 5 minutes. Let me go and breathe, regulate my emotions. Let me come back to it in 5 minutes, and we'll talk about this if you would like.
Mm.
And give them the option.
Yeah.
You know.
I never used to do that. I just used to just be like,
Yeah. Yeah. Same here.
then I'll start going off on another topic and I'll start going on a rabbit hole. And I've stopped doing that, especially with the kids and them. I would be like, all right, in my head, I'll be like, okay, shut the fuck up, John, sharp. And I'll be like, okay, cool. Let me walk away from this because continuing engaging them, that would just kind of rile me up because I have my ways and they have their ways and they can't understand my ways, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
it ain't make no sense both to be getting angry.
No.
That's I've done that too many times and I'm slowly learning, but
I struggled like that as well. You know, with my upbringing, having background as a police and soldier as well.
Yeah.
in Babylon.
Yeah. Firebomb.
Yeah.
The Babylon.
Your mind is rigid,
Yeah.
and
Very linear, innit?
yeah, it's pragmatic. It's black or white. There's no gray,
Mm.
and you try to bring things across to people to say, well, this is what needs to be done, and it can't happen that way. And you struggle to see, well, if it's not black, then it has to be white. There is no gray
There's
between.
no gray area in it.
Yeah, but then now in this generation now, it's not gray. They're bringing pink and yellow and all sorts in between, and it sprays your mind. It sprays your mind in different dimensions.
It's like
and
a kaleidoscope of color and emotion.
Yeah, and
navigate
it's a struggle because now, you're also bringing things from way back when you haven't actually dealt with. That's like when you talk about the glass with water. All these things that are in there, and then dumping all these other bits on top, and you're about to explode. But if you explode, that shit's gonna really go and be like messy. And you are the person to contain that because at the end of the day, you are the man. And you try to bottle that. That's not easy.
No.
And if you offload that, it's gonna be ugly.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, who's ready? And not even that. It's not who's ready. Are we ready as men? Because we don't. I think a lot of men flirt with not having the confidence to make ourselves vulnerable to the people that care about us to express how we feel because it probably makes us seem weak to them. And it's going back to how society has indoctrinated men to be like strong. You should be stoic. You shouldn't cry in public. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Me personally, I mean, I think like that I might portray myself to look weak. Most of the times, I just can't be asked, mate. I just can't be bothered to be like, explain anything to you.
Yeah.
I'd be like, people are like, oh, tell me, you need to open up on this and that, and I'd be like, probably won't even be able to explain or articulate it over to you. So I just
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
can't
true.
be bothered, man.
And it's energy as well,
over.
bro.
Yeah.
It's energy because sometimes you in that state, you feel like ever had a conversation with someone, and the three of us we're positive. There's more positive people I've met than the three of us, bro. And you speak to somebody, and they're negative, and all they want to do is take your energy. And when you're done talking to them, like,
Yeah, man. Energy vampires.
And you're like, see you next 6 months.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
2 seconds, guys. Yeah.
Right. Welcome back, people. On the topic of mindfulness. We've discussed,
Energies in it.
the energy.
Energy vampires and them that floating around this place.
People's energy can affect you differently, whether positive or negative. So one of the things we want to sort of do now is, at least hear from other people. We're gonna ask the question later on so that you can, make your comment and tell us what you do.
Pay your comments, man.
From the guys, I'd like to know if you can give somebody an advice as to, how to keep themselves mentally healthy. What would you tell them?
Jay, you want to take this one?
So mental fitness, mental health, it all is a lot of things that add to that. You know, be fit, your your health in general. You know, keep yourself physically fit. You know, you eat certain things, this, that, and it all adds up to your mental health. Other things that we could do, as we were discussing from the beginning, is expressing your emotions. Men, gents, fellas, lads, we need to. I know I'm saying this, and a lot of times that I don't practice what is preach, but it is true that we need to chat, and sometimes some guys might start chatting, and then they might have a bad experience, and this is why they don't chat anymore.
Yeah.
This is something I've been through. You know, this is what I said before. Life has humbled me and, you know, kept me quiet, because I may have started, you know, opening up in the beginning, and then people didn't really bother with me. So I'll just be like, all right, cool, I'll just shut my mouth. But to have a good mental health, you know, keep yourself healthy, you know, and just find things that it could help release. You know, like this podcast that we're doing right now. There's something that we can help release. It's giving us an avenue to discuss things that people outside there might be thinking, you know what? I wanted to say something like that.
Yeah.
You know? And I could go in and I'll drop a comment and be like, yeah, brothers, yeah, I've been going through this and that, and it's just it's dealing with it as best as you can as well. You know, finding something that would make you happy. You know, me, I do my prayers.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I like to be by myself a lot. You know, and
That is
people-
healthy, though.
it is,
It's
That is healthy.
only
but some it could be it becomes a bit addictive, addicting
Yeah,
there's
as well.
there's power in being by yourself, bro.
No, it's
There is.
real.
Yeah, because what they say, like, oh, geniuses talk to themselves, and someone.
And mad people too, but hey,
Mad people, genius, that's the thing.
I'll be mad. I'll be mad. Let me be mad.
Yeah, but the thing is, when you by yourself,
Mm.
bro, that's your time. That's your mindfulness time to kind of reason out.
and figure out who you are at the end. You know.
You go.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Like, you know, for me, when you're by yourself, right?
Mm.
I mean, we're all here, and it's good and important. We are social people. You know, we get to talk to each other,
Mm.
and, you know, bounce off ideas, which is
Yeah.
necessary. But when you're having a conversation with somebody, let's say the energies are different.
Mm.
The person is you know, not as positive as you, right? And you're talking to them. Now, you need to listen to that person and react to that person.
Mm-hmm.
And chances are, based on the conversation that person is having, you then sort of take on that psychological effect and put yourself in that position so that you can understand that person.
Yeah.
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 Empathize with them, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then now, let's remove that person from that equation and you're by yourself. You're not going to take that on. And this for me now is like, when you're by yourself, the room is quiet, but it is loud. And that's for me.
True.
When I'm by myself, the room is quiet, but I'm loud.
True.
I am talking to myself as much as I want in whatever thing I want, and there is no disturbance because I'm not listening to any outside field to reply to that. Now, when you look at time, the time you spend, you know, again, you're listening to somebody in a conversation, you know, to react and be empathetic to them.
Mm.
But let's say you did that for 20 minutes. That's fine. Cool. You helped somebody. But you spend 20 minutes by yourself. What you gain 20 minutes by yourself is going to be different to the 20 minutes you spend with somebody else because you have that own space to think wherever you want to go, how far you want to go, how deep you want to go. That's your own space.
I mean that's even if you want to do that.
Yeah, go
Some
that
people
direction.
some people might just be like myself.
Mm.
I mean, I might be sitting down by myself in my room and I'm thinking about something, and then I'll just be like, yeah, whatever, and I'll just forget that and just not even think about it because it's too hard for me to sit down there and think about that and
Yeah,
rationalize with myself and debate with myself. I ain't got time for that. I just want to chill out and not stress myself.
Mm.
And this is where a lot of my problems come in. You know?
Overthinking.
Yeah.
Overthinking.
Oh shit, I do overthink a lot.
Yeah.
I complicate a lot of simple things.
Mm.
You know, and yeah, but
It's interesting to see the different, you know.
Yeah.
When I when I sit down, I'm sure I'd like to hear when I sit down, I become probably maybe three people. Yeah,
Oh,
because
trust me.
I'll be talking. Yeah, I'll be talking to me. I'll be,
Don't apologize for being me now, man.
yeah, I'll be talking to myself, asking this question, but then at the same time, I'll be critical about that thing that I just asked, and then sort of answering that question,
Yeah.
and then sort of
Yeah.
bringing another opinion from somewhere else to say, well,
Mhm.
what else different can come in here? But,
Mhm.
you have all that information coming within your head, and then by the time you walk away, it's like a lot of things make sense to you. It makes sense to you, and then when you have that type of conversation with somebody, you probably would just go deep so fast they don't understand,
Yeah.
or they look at you like strange, like what time in the world did you have to even think about that?
Yeah.
But it's clearing your mind, clearing your mind.
And going back to what you were saying there, Jay, about the thoughts in the rabbit hole. To me, like there's two types of thinking. And people, there's two types of thinking that we can do as humans. Is obsessive thinking and sporadic non-obsessive thinking. So sporadic non-obsessive thinking is like throughout your day, certain interactions, certain things have occurred. You'll think about it, it'll bounce through your minds, but it will probably wind you up or get you upset or get you down, solicit an emotion from you, yeah?
Yeah.
And we can 9 times out of 10 deal with that because it's just blase, like yeah, F that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Then the obsessive thoughts, when something traumatic has happened, something big has happened, or there's something that's weighing on our minds, and we just think about that one thing throughout the day.
Oh, bro.
Next thing you know, bro, you're just in a spiral, and it's
Yeah.
affecting you. You stop eating and
Yeah.
everything else. And you were saying that going for a run, these things, and I think like when you going back to your question,
Or even
like,
going to the gym, man.
yeah,
Beating it out on some weights.
how do you keep yourself healthy, your mental health up to par with things? And I think Jay, Mac, I think the three of us have encapsulated the tree of keeping its mind, body,
Yeah.
and health
So,
in general.
Mind, body, and soul.
Yeah, so if you're going for a run and that, because all them endorphins and that you're releasing in the gym,
Yeah.
that's making you feel happy, is easing off that stress, that tension in your muscles. Then your mindfulness with it, like you doing your mindfulness, you ensuring that you practice positive self-talk. Because I always say to, like, even my daughter, I'll just say, just do this exercise with her. I'll say to her, say 1, 2, 3. She'll say 1, 2, 3. I said, I'll say it in your mind. She will say, I said, now do you hear that voice? She goes, yeah. So it's amazing that you said it in your mind, but you couldn't hear the voice, and that there is your inner voice.
yeah.
And we, as people, we such on a hustle. We never take the time to listen to our inner voice, bro.
Or the inner child as
Yeah,
well.
inner child is another thing. Yeah, the inner child is like the trauma and that, innit? Yeah, but like with the inner voice, you have to say to yourself, yeah, just take your time and listen to what you're saying to yourself. Listen to what's going on. Listen to, is it a positive thing you're saying to yourself? Is it a negative thing you're saying to yourself? Yeah, and if it's a negative thing you're saying to yourself, how can you change it to a positive thing? What is the steps to doing that?
Yeah.
And the more and more you practice, changing those negative thoughts into positive thoughts, then you will start having a grip on your I would say your mindfulness and a positive outlook. Now, saying that, it brings me on to the topic of mental health in men. Now, everyone's mental health situation is different, bro. And
Yeah.
there's no one cure for someone's mental health. And I'm sick and tired of hearing people, other men, saying to other men, you should do this or you should do that. Go
It's
to the
not
gym.
one size fit all kind of cup, is it?
It's not, but it's so unique, so multifaceted that we couldn't comprehend.
That is true.
And we cannot simplify mental health about, like, for example, if you're depressed, I do this, I do that, and it helps me. Yeah, it works
Yeah,
for
it
you.
helps. It helps you.
But for some other people, like, it's such a thing that it could be trauma from childhood, that something you saw, something you heard, something you smelt
Yeah.
can
True.
bring back that trauma. Next thing you know, those thoughts start popping up in your head. And there's data to suggest that mental health in people is actually related. If you have a parent that suffered from mental health, 9 times out of 10, you will be affected and would suffer from some sort of mental health situation.
Coming from a risk management and compliance background, one of the things that we look for is when there's a particular hazard and you want to reduce that hazard,
Mm.
you put mitigating measures in place. But one of the things that get overlooked sometimes is you remove something, but you add something. So when I say you remove a hazard, but at the same time, the mitigating measures you put are also a hazard.
Yeah.
And using that analogy now is, covering what you just mentioned there, Charlie. Everybody deal with issues different.
Yeah.
So as you say, somebody might go to the gym.
Yeah.
That's how they deal with that, right?
But it's still not addressing it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And but watch this now. One of the overlooking things, obesity can be mental health. And watch this. If somebody have some level of depression,
Mm.
a skinny person, I may say, you find it easy to go to the gym.
Mhm.
For them, it's not going to the gym. For them, it's sitting down around 6 donuts and taking that down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
True.
And
For
what's
them, it's having this bowl of snacks and
Mm.
cereals and chocolates and
what's the
rest.
underlying factor in that? That's what you to ask. That's what that we to find out.
Yeah.
Why do they use food as a comfort?
Oh, that comfort. That's the thing. Comfort
That's
food.
how they deal
Comfort
with that.
eating.
Because not everybody can run.
Yeah.
Not everybody, you wouldn't want to sit in front of a bowl of chocolate or whatever it is.
No.
That's not your way of thinking.
Yeah, all in moderation. That's why everyone's different because
Yeah.
you would say it's a symptom of mental health, not mental health. It's a symptom.
A symptom.
Yeah.
So so again, one thing lead to the other.
Oh yeah, they're all interconnected.
And that is in we see people unaliving themselves again. They can't deal with it. They can't cope, and it's just a matter of how you cope. And you're right in what you say. People will come on when it's a podcast like us and say, "Oh, men should do this or you should do that." It doesn't. What we need to do as individuals is look out for each other as much as possible. We always
True.
do.
But society now, bro.
I was just about to
Society
say
now,
that.
everyone's on their own grind. That's
I was just about
terrible, bro.
I was just about to say society plays a lot, especially with the younger generation now. The social media generation, the Instagram, the Snapchat, the TikTok, the this and that, the false way of how you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Especially with young girls.
And men.
Yeah. Everybody. This is how they look on social media and they be like, oh, this is how it's supposed to be, and this is that, and blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And, God forbid they go to school not wearing the latest pair of Jordans, and then people start taking the piss out here and they start getting bullied and this and that. I mean, our generation, who try and bully we on social media?
They're on the social
I
media
tell you how your mother so and so.
Yes.
Because quick as Jet Li Chinese chop.
That's why I say to you guys, like when people post negative things on the channel, just thumbs up and like it.
Yeah,
And just keep it moving.
Nobody got time for that, But this generation, they take it all and be like, oh, bro. So that is another social media is another form of mental health as well, because and you see it, people, these young kids killing themselves because they're getting bullied online.
Pressure.
It's just social dynamic is such a complex thing because, like, don't forget,
wanting to be accepted as well.
Accepted.
That's it, wanting to be part of the clan, part of the group.
It's so many pressures because don't forget, like these kids, because don't forget when you're born, your brain is mush, yeah, and then you get educated through up to the age of 2 to be socially acceptable.
Yeah.
Right? If you're socially acceptable, then yes, mommy, no, mommy, yes, please, no.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Yeah. So you take your children out, they can be a function of society, right?
Yeah.
And then when they turn 12, 13, they go for another hormonal stage and their frontal cortex, I think it is, tends to mush basically. So emotional regulation is something that they will have. Now, you find that looking primates, looking other animals, you always see when the juveniles, they will always gang up together and there'll always be a hierarchy of juveniles. That's my theory anyway. So there'll be a hierarchy of juveniles and that. One will be more dominant. There'll be like a beta and you'll find that there'll be the followers. Now for the followers to kind of please the more, I would say alpha, the more dominant people,
Yeah.
they will do certain things.
Yeah.
Now, social
Be
media is
accepted.
it's the same thing as human
Be
beings, bro.
accepted.
Yeah, so once you see things are trained on social media, especially for them young kids, from what I've seen, it's kind of like they will talk about it and you start seeing trends within their fashion. You
Yep.
start seeing trends in how they wear their hair. You start seeing
Yeah,
trends
and
in their
everybody trying to
lingo.
top each other.
And then,
Everybody
yeah,
trying to be,
yeah. And then when
it's
you
like king of the hill kind of thing. You know what I mean?
And then when you start being different
Mm.
to that, there, you kind of like make yourself a target because you're different now, and the whole hierarchy kind of let's fix their eyes on you and start targeting you. Yeah, there's other things. There's other things with this. Certain kids that probably are going through some stuff, and that's their way to just pick on other kids. But that's just one facet of what I have seen and noticed, and from my experience.
Mm.
Yeah, so when you find, and then when kids get older, they tend to, I think it's 23.
Yeah.
That's when the adult brain starts forming completely, I believe. And then that's where all the behaviors are set in. That's where
Exactly. Yeah.
They know
Yeah.
themselves.
they didn't know themselves.
Yeah.
You get me?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I agree exactly with what you said, and could add to that. Again, society. Some of us,
Society, man.
some
I
of
mean,
us
we live in it.
some of us people, we're selfish and irresponsible.
Oh
The
yeah.
human race. Let's generalize it.
Oh,
You know,
Human race, man.
even on social media, you can see
Self-preservation.
you can see some people with some crazy social media posts like, oh, ladies, if your man is not giving you
So and so, you know,
2K
Yeah.
to do your hair a month, or if he doesn't earn 6 figures a month, or if he doesn't buy you this or buy you that, leave him or dump him, those kind of things.
I
And
think the pressure that
these
Yeah.
are standards that
You know,
guys have to live up to as well.
that is pure selfishness and irresponsible.
Yeah.
Because now when you do that now, the impression you're putting on not just adults, no, you're looking at the youngsters who still have an impressionable mind.
Yep.
You're telling them that that's what they need to be looking for in a man. And now you're putting the youngsters under pressure to say, hey, listen, this is what I need to have in order to have a woman in my life.
Or have a man.
This is
Yep.
downright crazy.
Yeah, it's madness.
And it's selfishness.
Because the guys having they getting social pressures on them. They
Mhm.
need to be this way. They need to be making this amount of the 6-figure
that's right.
salaries and be wearing this type of clothes, driving
Yeah.
this kind of car. And then the girls have
It's
to be
just-
like, I need to be skinny. I need to be this. I need to have lips like Donald Duck. I need to have
Yeah.
eyelashes that could pick mangoes and trees. Or
Sorry, Charlie. And
You
these things are coming from people who are lacking in themselves. They lack a certain thing, and to make
In
up
your
for that-
opinion, because like you have to be so.
but yeah,
Yeah,
in my opinion,
yeah.
my opinion.
It's
you know what I
in
mean?
my opinion.
It's the same fact. The same like
and they may lack certain things. Okay, whatever you lack, what you think, well, okay, have a few pennies.
Mm.
I can put a few pennies on a woman. Say, hey, go and do your hair and rest of it. Might not be the most charming, but that's what brings them in.
Yeah.
And then you figure, well, okay, yeah, this is how I'm gonna sort of get at most people. I mean, could be, could not be, but these are the type of things when you think that, if a person may lack certain things, you try to bring others down to make them feel
This
less.
is self-confidence thing and making
Yeah.
yourself, yeah. Because all right, let me ask you a question about that.
Mm.
Yeah, the two of you. Do you feel, yeah, you got both boy and girl. You got two girls and a boy. I have a girl.
Yep.
Right. Do you feel like for boys when you're
3
born,
girls,
you got 3 girls?
one coming soon.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
When
Yeah.
congrats, mate. When
1, 2, 3.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we got kids. We got kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got
Right.
kids.
Right. Do you feel that when boys are born throughout their life, they have to prove their worth in society to show where they fit in? Yeah. And you believe for girls when they're born that they already have their worth assigned to them.
Yeah, guys, boys
Go
will
ahead
always.
again. Sorry. Go ahead
Okay,
again. Let
so-
me ensure I digest it.
All right. So for boys,
Mhm.
when boys are born, they need to prove their worth and value in society
Mhm.
to show where they fit into society, to be given that not stature, yeah, say stature.
Mhm.
Mm.
So, for example, as a youth, you're born in the Caribbean, you come over here, join the army, you're sent to the ranks, you save some money, and we fall into that whole that triad: big house, fast car, beautiful wife, money kind of thing. Yeah,
Everything you see on TV. Yeah.
everything you see on TV. Now, as a man, to accomplish that, that's what they'll that's what they'll consider successful,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
And if you don't live up to that standard, and if you end up in a small one-bedroom flat, driving a little moped that's breaking down all the time,
Mhm.
your shoes always dirty and thing,
Mm.
because that's what you can afford. Even though you brush polish it, you can still see the holes in it. That's your limit.
Mm.
Yeah, and you're trying to elevate yourself,
Yeah.
but that's your limit.
See, but that could be a limit for that period.
That's what I'm saying. So
You know
that
what I mean?
so that in society's eyes, as a man, that's how they see in you, bro.
Mm.
So that's the value you bring in.
Mm.
Yeah. And for girls, when they're born, they
Mhm.
need to be protected. They need to you show your value because you're a girl, and then you're so precious, and you're beautiful, and you can do anything that you want.
Yeah, you
you're
can do
empowered.
anything that.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm just asking you. I'm
Yeah.
just asking, what do you think on that, bro? And let's turn it back to mental health for
Yeah.
boys being
Yeah.
under that social pressure.
Boys always,
Meeting those
growing up,
goals.
boys are boys. Boys always want to, impress the ladies.
Mm.
Always want to impress the ladies. When I was growing up, we always want to impress the ladies. I was I like the convent girls. That's how, my wife, she's a convent girl, you know. And
Mm.
convent girls used to be the
Yeah, top tier,
the
top
cream
tier.
of the crop now.
Mm.
They
in
were,
them days,
they were, yeah,
You know?
naughty girls, boy. Come.
Well, no nowadays, but when growing up in my time, convent girls was the cream of the crop. You finish school and you walk outside and you stand up outside the school. I know you want
Your
to make
best
sure
dress.
your best dress. Your pants iron,
Yeah.
this that. Your hair, yes, it's we have to put ourselves out there. It's like you look on the nature channel, you see the birds and I'm doing they
There's
mate
the
and
paradise,
dance,
yeah, man.
they mate and dance and all kind of silly. So everybody's under pressure.
Yeah.
Guys under pressure to get noticed, and the girls under pressure to, I guess, do the same thing.
If we talk about boys, like from that, how society's putting pressure on boys to meet those targets of that stereotype. You have to show your value, and if you're not showing your value, then you're a failure.
Well, when we
And
say
it's what-
society, who in society?
Right. So in society, where we influence as human beings is like social media,
Mm-hmm.
our indoctrination when we're growing up,
Mm-hmm.
and the interactions that we have with members of society.
Mm-hmm.
So in my opinion, that's the three ways that we indoctrinated to adopt social norms and that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I say social media has, I would say, 90% of everything that's going on.
Exactly. So look at all right. Let's say it the other way around. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a man. You're on 7 figures a year. You pull it in like 5 million overturning in your business. Yeah.
I want to be your man.
Yeah. And something else to happen,
Mm-hmm.
and you lose everything, my brother.
Buddy.
You lose everything. Horse corn. What's it called? Horse corn and cart. Yeah. You lose everything. Yeah. And now you have your partner, your girlfriend, or your boyfriend, whoever you have. You have to maintain that lifestyle. And
Yeah,
see,
well-
you see how society's how it is. It's
So-
just I'm just saying, just that thing, like how
So-
you starting to think about it, like crap, I have to keep up this
But
appearance.
you still have to. Yeah, if you have a good one,
Mm.
if you have a good partner, if you have a good partner, a real good one, and they see that you're going down, something happens. Say for instance, you get cancer or some kind of thing, and you can't be making them 7 figures anymore,
Yeah.
and they realize that, all right, cool, this is what happening. I'm still gonna stick around.
But for you as a man, your mental health, how would you deal with something like that?
So
And we always say about like big money, but doesn't have it could be just losing your job.
yeah.
How do you deal with that? How do you deal with that mentally?
So,
How would you process that, bro?
For me, the key thing that stand out what you just said, the key word indoctrination.
Mm.
That's the main thing. Education.
Oh yeah.
Education. It is us as parents, and it's tougher now because of social media, but it's us as parents to still be hunter gatherers, not just for food,
True.
but for knowledge.
Yeah.
You go out there, you find your knowledge, and you bring it to your children. No,
Mhm.
it's harder. No, social media
It's harder now.
take over everything. And where I'm going with this is, success. Define success.
And that's important.
So when you
Good point.
define success as having a fast car, the big house, the six-figure salary and that. No,
Yep.
that basically in your head mean success means having more than somebody else.
Mm.
But if that is success for you, you haven't been successful yet. Because until you're the richest man,
Mm.
you're not successful.
Yeah, but you could be richest man. I don't think it's still not successful.
Exactly.
Because it
Because
come like when
somebody else is gonna be richer than you
yeah,
tomorrow.
or it come like when the journalist was interviewing Bob Marley,
Yeah.
you know, and he asked him if you're rich, you got the cars, the woman, the money,
Yeah,
and then Bob
that's not
and,
success.
and Bob say, you know, having cars and money don't mean you're rich.
No.
So how would you tie that to mental health then?
So again, with
Gratitude,
education, so
being
is understanding
content.
your success. What is success? Success is being happy with what you have,
Being content.
being content with what you have.
Yep.
And if you're content with what you have, you are successful. And if
Exactly.
you have that mindset every day that you're content with what you have, giving gratitude,
Mm.
you see yourself as a successful person.
Yep.
You wouldn't be chasing the cars, the money, and the everything. And even though you lose those things, you know they are temporary things. They're not forever. They're
Material
temporary
things,
things.
man.
Once you have that mindset and you lose those things, it's very hard for that to change your mindset to say, oh, I'm living a hard life. You know, for instance,
Yes.
all of us have a few jumpers. So
Yeah.
what if a jumper have a hole in it? Toss it in the bin. You have a jumper.
To cover him
Does that
back in
affect
it.
you? Does that affect you?
No.
No, it doesn't. And that's the mindset. So when you look at material things, the cars, yes, we need them.
But to what extent?
As a
though?
function,
We want them.
As a function.
as a
As a
tool.
tool.
Yeah,
You know what I
we
mean?
want them. We don't need them.
Yeah.
We want them.
Yeah. We
It's
well,
good-
I mean,
it's good,
we don't need the Lamborghini and
No.
this and that.
but we want them.
I mean, I'm a wheels right.
So-
I'm a wheels right here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it would
if
be.
you have that
What?
mindset, being successful is there. So again, now if you can put that knowledge onto your children, and you can, indoctrination, you can, because when you look at in St. Vincent, you have the Rastafarians, the Rastafarian, the little children,
Yeah.
their mindset is different. You know?
But how does that like how would you connect that to like a balanced mental health? How does that connect to a balanced mental health, you think?
Well, if you have that approach, you tend to see life in a different way.
Mm.
You understand what success is. You define your own level of success. If you're unfortunate to think success is having all these material things, unfortunately for you. But if you can see success differently, as in being content with yourself, that's the beginning of everything. And then whatever else come is just temporary.
Yeah.
Nothing stays forever.
Yeah.
No,
You feel good today,
Yeah.
tomorrow you can feel bad. You
Yep.
feel bad today, tomorrow you can feel
Yep.
good.
And that's something within the Caribbean structure, I think, and especially from my African brethren, that's another prevalent thing where that thing, big house,
Mm.
good job,
Yeah.
beautiful wife, children,
Yeah.
beautiful, nice car, yeah. And like I always go back to this, because of that indoctrination, bro. It puts pressure because when you don't achieve these things by a certain age, in as a man,
Mm.
society starts looking at you differently, bro.
Well, you think society starts looking at you. You start
Within our
there's
culture.
really you really start looking at it's only yourself looking at you.
Yourself.
You're looking at yourself
You're
because
judging yourself.
nobody really give a shit.
No.
Yeah, but what I'm okay, that's true, partly true. But
Mm.
imagine you spend 60 years in this country, yeah, and you come back to Trinidad, or you go back to Mesa, I go back to St. Lucia, yeah. My wife left me, and I come back living
Yeah,
at my
that's it.
parents' home. I have nothing to myself.
Mhm.
How society supposed to look at you now, and how is that supposed to help your mental health? No, not how, but what effects you think that have on your mental health?
Yeah. Again, it depends on the individual. It depends.
And the situation.
In my opinion, it depends on the individual. Now, if you're a person who seek validation, you're gonna be in problem.
And thank you.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to get from you.
You're gonna
That's
be
what I
in
was trying
problem.
to.
So
100%.
if you want society to tell you, this is good, this is bad, you're gonna be in serious problems.
Yep.
You need to know and understand yourself and balance
Yep.
yourself.
Now, getting that, you see that validation thing?
Yeah.
That was my freaking problem.
Mm.
I was going to get the okay, that's fine, or
Yeah.
you're amazing at this.
Yeah.
Because somewhere down the line, I lost confidence in myself, bro.
Mm.
That because coming from when I left St. Lucia and I came up here, bro, if I didn't like something, I'm gonna put water in my mouth. I'll tell you right there and then.
Yeah.
Mm.
And because of, like you said, the kaleidoscope of emotions and colors you have to navigate now, I kind of like I suppressed all of that. So I was very PC with everything I was saying or doing, and it led me, it led me into situations that that hurt people around me. You get me? Because I couldn't stand up for myself because I felt like what would they say about that, or I would insult them, not insult them, but I would make them feel bad. You understand? Because of me being assertive. Now, with what you were saying there, Mac, about what I said about when you go home and you're worried about how people perceive you, yeah, yes, it depends who you are, and I think it's a journey as a man for you to start knowing yourself. Yeah, 20s, yeah,
What's wrong?
dark man.
That rum kicking in, boy.
Yeah, it's a good thing you don't know driving your own minute. Yeah, but I think as a man, yeah, it's a journey to discovering who you are in a couple of stages. You're a youth, mommy, daddy, and whoever it is, and granny and that. You're a teenager. That's my friends. That's my friends. Oh, I messed up there. You're an adult. Oh, let's drink. Let's see who I am. Okay, yeah, I'm a man. Yeah, and this is how I interact with people. And then your 30s, you kind of like, yeah, taking on more responsibilities. You have your child, you have your wife. 40s, you're gonna make a mistake. You probably hit a midlife crisis there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One boom. Yeah.
yeah, hit a midlife
definitely.
crisis there, and it's a very common thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk about it on another podcast. But the important thing about once you have gotten through that journey is to understand who you are, understand what makes you strong, understand what empowers you, understand your mental health and how you can regulate it, how you can nurture it, how you can keep it healthy, what doesn't work for you for your mental health, and be assertive to take yourself out of that situation if it's affecting your mental health. If someone's stressing you out, you have to choose yourself, bro. You have to say, look, you stressing me out, it's affecting me in a negative way. Give me some space for a day or two. Let me balance myself out and I'll come back. Because once you say something that's unhealthy or that's effed up, you cannot take that back.
No, you can't. But you also need to have the strength and courage to tell people,
To F off.
yeah. So I
Sometimes
need space because sometimes you'll be like, because as you said, that validation thing, constant validation, seeking constant validation is a childhood trauma thing.
Bro, yes.
It is a childhood trauma thing.
Yeah.
Because I am guilty of that.
I am very guilty of that.
I'm guilty of constantly, wanting people to like me, this, that. And as I'm getting older, starting to realize, you know what?
Yeah.
Shit,
Do you,
shit.
let me ask you a question, Jay. When you go into a room, do
Mm.
you say something or act silly or act like a clown just so people can kind of like you and you can entertain them? If you see them laugh or you say something that's funny to them or you've entertained them, to see them happy.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
With me, yeah. What I was doing before my therapy and that, yeah. I would ensure everyone around me was happy, was okay, was fed, was looked after, was entertained.
Be a nice host.
And
Yeah.
then if I saw that was good, I would be happy.
Yeah.
Now, in my relationship, if for example I was trying everything to make someone happy or to fix what was going on with them,
Yeah.
and
I'm
it was not
affected as well.
working, it was not working,
Yeah.
I'll get angry, bro. Because I'm thinking like I'm doing all this, I'm doing all of that, like, and all that is like a childhood trauma thing. So my mental health was everywhere, was dependent on this validation to make myself feel happy from that person's behavior, a response.
Yeah, because as a child, you probably wouldn't made to not feel like you're doing anything right. I guess is that. Yeah.
You could say that's probably one of the things. Or you put too much pressure on yourself to be perfect as well.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
no, nowadays when I go in, that happened recently. Something that's happened recently. Talking to a bunch of work colleagues, in a group, they start that everybody talking. I didn't really have much to say, but something came up, and then I started speaking, and they looked at me, and then they just carried on talking. So they didn't really acknowledge me. I did that a few times, and then after the third time, I was like, you know what? Let me keep my mouth quiet and just smile and wave to everybody. I spoke to somebody about it, and they said that, you know what, just it could be probably because they different, I don't know.
Sometimes
You're probably not in their clique or this and that, and you just
Sometimes you gotta pick your fight.
yeah,
You know when it's yours, and sometimes you just sense it's not yours,
yeah, exactly,
and you just leave it.
Energy and giving energy to it.
yeah.
But you know,
And I'm already one that I don't really I'm a quiet guy. I don't really
yeah.
carry on a lot of big conversation. If somebody's talking and something that I could have some input on, then yeah, we have a nice conversation. You know, but I won't be the one to. I'm not a big character in work. I can't just go and hold a crowd, a conversation, this and that.
Mm.
If I'm allowed to come in and chat,
Yeah.
then
It's a different.
it's a different thing if I'm allowed to. But if I just interject myself and people look at me like this, then I feel like a twat.
It's a game. It's a game. It's a game. You know,
I just keep it
understanding the game and playing the game is a different thing than loving the game.
How you mean?
So, I would say corporate world, but not just as because from a CV street to my perspective, but for you again, you know, within the work environment, you understand the game. Yeah,
life.
especially in the army. Especially in the army. Army is one of the things where if you're loud and boisterous, you know, chances are,
The big personality
you know,
and stuff.
you're personal, but you shit at your job. You know that is
True.
something. But then you understand that game.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah, you understand that game and you play the game, but not necessarily mean that you love the game. You know, so if you can be in a different environment where you love the game, as you're saying now, if you're allowed to speak when it's time that you want to speak, you're passionate about the things you want to speak about, then you love that. You know what I mean? You talk about that very loudly. You don't need to impress anybody with that. You talk about that.
And that's the thing. You need to have that confidence in knowing that.
So
you don't need-
understanding when it's a fight.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I get you, my G.
Yeah. So, well, one other thing I wanted to add with that, G, is there's always this thing that sometimes sticks in the back of my head.
That inner voice.
Well, something I read. One man to a box.
One man to a box.
One man.
How do you mean explain that?
You know.
One man to a box. At the end of the day, it's one man to a box.
So what?
So you married, we married.
Yeah.
Partner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Society say, you know, when you're married, together forever, blah blah blah, and so on.
And it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you look at it, if a partner, I'm not going to talk about, you know, one of us, but if a partner, like for instance, for me now, I don't eat pork.
Okay.
No.
What kind of pork is it? The type of pork you don't eat?
So
Like, we
I don't eat that. Yeah. So
No comment.
if my partner choose to eat pork, now previously,
yeah.
I might have been a little bit like, oh, you know, you eating pork, you know, that type of thing, because I don't. And you expect, okay, if one person don't, perhaps the other person don't, that type of thing.
Yeah.
But then now, as you get
Everybody's
older, you tend to realize, hey, you know what? And this is me now.
Everybody's your own person.
Yeah, one man to a box.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
At the end of the day, each of us need to answer to whatever we put in the book.
We are all individuals.
Whether or not we're together for 100 years doesn't matter.
Yeah.
True.
We need to answer individually what we put in the book.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you have that mindset,
Mm.
and you're in a situation where you think, okay, hang on a minute. Now, partner is in a state, well, saying they're in a state and you're not helping them sounds bad, but that's not what I meant. But they are like on a particular route. You feel obliged to either pull them back or bring them in a direction, or you know what I mean? It's not working, and you take that on, and you stress yourself and all these things. It's not necessary.
Wrong.
It's not necessary, because at the end of the day, who is responsible for you? You're responsible for yourself.
Yeah, but it depends on the route, though.
But you're responsible for yourself.
You are responsible for,
you
for
are.
yourself and your actions.
Yeah.
You are.
But at the same time,
Everyone is responsible for their actions.
yeah, true, 100%. But at the same time, I ain't gonna see somebody that I consider literally going, say metaphorically speaking, going and walk in front of a train and not
No.
hold them back.
That's different.
Yeah, that's different.
Now you saving life.
Yeah.
Of course.
But what I think what Mac's trying to say is like your actions, you're responsible for your actions and your behaviors. However, if you are a person that
You could only advise, like Queen used to do. Just advise.
advice, as
Yeah.
you're going to take the advice,
Rest in
at the end of
peace,
the day,
Lizzie.
it's down to you what you do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Simple as that, man.
That's it.
Mm.
If you're a big man, you're a big woman,
'Cause-
you do your thing, you could only advise, I could only advise my children. I'll be like, don't do this.
Mm.
I've got a bit of wisdom. I've been in this life a lot longer than you.
yeah.
Yeah? If
Yeah.
you think you know more than me, then go. All right?
And some people same like learning. Everybody learn differently.
True.
So some people learn hands-on. Some people just want to be told and left alone. This is what you need to do. Leave me alone. Bugger off. I don't need you over my shoulder. Some people need somebody over their shoulder to pat them to say, "Oh, good boy, good girl."
Lead them by the hand.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Some
some
had to
people,
burn to learn.
some people want trial and error.
True.
They don't want to be told. They don't want to be guided. They don't want to be good. They just want to bump
They want to
and
find
know
out for
that
themselves.
to go back there.
There's an African saying, my brother, this was Ghanaian, he said to me, when a child's going to fire, you need to kind of like let them go forward.
Hmm.
When they're going towards water, you pull them back. So basically, if they're going to drown in something that's
Yeah.
going to like take their life, you
Yeah.
pull them back.
Yeah, fair enough.
If
Yeah,
they go
I like
towards
that.
fire, they're going to feel their heat and
Yeah.
they're going to pull
They're
their
gonna-
hand back.
Yeah. Depends on the fire, though.
Yeah.
Bonfire.
Depends on the fire.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to put something in the microwave and I tell you to put that because it has metal in it, and they say no, you don't.
Yeah,
No,
yes.
sweep it, and the microwave blow up, then you buy me back on your microwave. You
Mm.
know what I mean?
Of course.
Coming out of your allowance,
Yeah.
so you have to burn to learn.
know?
So yeah,
But yeah,
And
man.
with that same like how people learn differently. Everybody sort of like they live life in a different way as well, because some people they live on others' energy.
oh yes,
God,
of
bro,
course.
bro, let's
Yeah, they
listen.
live on others'
Oh.
energy. Like
It depends on the energy.
Yeah,
People live on people's downfall. And
Vampires.
vampires.
Beach
Yeah.
fam.
as we talk about validation, some people want validation. Some
Mm.
people, they want to feel sorry for.
Mm.
Some people like
Constant reassuring.
reassure. All these different things that people want. And when you look back at the analogy that I meant, one person to a box. When you look at all this, like, hang on a freaking minute. What if you were in that position?
Mm.
What would you do? If everybody's in the same position as they are, who will be there for the other?
Things about the
Everybody for themselves, huh?
reassurance thing, bro. Like, if it was like my daughter or my wife that came through for reassurance about something, I'll always provide that reassurance. Because, like, as a man and the husband and the father,
Yeah.
I want to give that reassurance as best
Yeah.
as I can, so
Yeah.
you feel okay. By the end of the day, whatever reassurance I provide,
Mhm.
same thing you're saying, Jay, is for you to kind of like analyze it and see how you can use that to change your thinking, feeling, and behavior.
Mhm.
What would you do differently?
Hmm?
What would you do differently? That's the question. Not you.
How
But
would they do it differently?
yeah, like when you're analyzing, you ask, what can you do differently?
Yeah, and that's a trick, people, because it's going down that rabbit hole. If you have something that's traumatic, especially for men,
Mm.
something traumatic might be like it could be an accident. It can be like a vehicular road collision.
Mm.
You can't say accident because it implies that
RTA.
yeah, no one's responsible for it. Anyway, if it was something like that, something that's traumatic,
Yeah.
and then you reliving that moment every single day, that might be a very difficult example to give, but just
Depression.
yeah,
Depression, yeah.
yeah, just for example, it would take practice in ways to challenge that sort of thinking that can lead you to that rabbit hole, because PTSD is a very complex issue in itself.
Mm.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, scrap that. How about if, for example, someone stole your car? Yeah, someone stole your car,
Mm.
and immediately when you see a car chase on telly, and someone stole a car on telly, you're like, oh yeah, they stole my car, and then your mind goes down that rabbit hole. It's at that point of that mental health, that mindset, that well-being, and that mindfulness. Because you've used that so much and you're so used to implementing that in your daily routine, that when that cup's about to overflow with that flooded emotion,
Mm.
your cup is empty enough to handle that, and you can process it and prevent yourself from going down that rabbit hole. Now, it's a simple way I'm explaining that there, because everyone's situation is different.
Sure.
This
Mm.
is just an example.
Yeah.
But everyone, obviously you get help if you need it. But it's just being mindful of yourself. Go on, Jay. Mindful of yourself.
Mm.
Mindful of how you feel. It starts with you. It starts with that inner thought,
Mhm.
that inner voice.
Mm.
If your inner voice is negative, how can I challenge that inner voice to be positive?
Okay,
How can I change it to be a positive inner voice? my emotion, is that a bad emotion? When I say bad, like anger, sadness, hurt, how can I process that and change that into a positive emotion? And that goes down to that praying,
Mm.
that deep breathing, yeah. And my behavior, I've got this thing saying like from last year after taking therapy, my therapist said to me, if you had a good day, sit down and say to yourself what you did well that day. And your
Reflect.
reflect. And your challenge is to see if you can top that tomorrow.
What can you do differently?
No, how can you be a better version of yourself?
Mm.
But it's not taking into account having to seek people's approval, having to be a people's pleaser.
Mm-hmm.
I could be a better version of myself from yesterday, but it's if people would like it.
That's
Hey,
that's
man,
down to them to manage their emotions,
Yeah.
Jay.
I don't
Yeah,
care.
yeah, it's down to them to manage their emotions.
I don't care. But I like that though.
If you go
you know,
through, if you go through life not giving a shit about other people's emotions, where you gonna go? It's have people that do that, you know.
It's not giving a shit about their emotions. You can be mindful of their emotion, be aware of their emotions.
but don't get sucked into it.
Yeah, and where you don't get stuck. Because what you're gonna do is when you do something and you're assertive about the decision you've made for yourself, yeah, and they have a difficulty processing that, is not down to you to process it. You can empower them with statements for them to be able to process it better, understand it. But at the end of
Okay.
the day, they need to have the
They need to be responsible for their own emotions.
engage in their
Can I have a cover
Sure.
onto what you just said?
Mm.
Not changing anything.
Go on, Mac. Go on, Mac.
Being a first aider.
they're running down the hill now
Running
to the
back.
end of it.
Yeah?
Yes.
Being a first aider.
Mm.
So you're a first aider or a paramedic.
Mm.
Yeah? And there's an accident. And you get there, it's one of your family members. Now, you know it's your family member,
Mm.
but at the same time now, you're doing your job as a paramedic.
Mm.
You're not getting sucked into the idea that, oh, it's my family member. You start breakdown and crying and the rest of it. You are doing what you're supposed to do
Mhm.
as a paramedic.
Mm.
I think that come back to pretty much what you just said, is knowing that a person is going through something and
Mm.
you're helping them, at the same time you're not allowing yourself to get sucked into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, separating yourself, isn't it?
You're separating
You come
yourself.
like, cause
Yeah.
I've done a course called CNO course, Casualty Notification Officer. Say for instance, one of my best friends, you know, I get a call that something happened to him,
Mm.
blah blah blah, could be fatal. He could just be a casualty. But I'm within the area, and they call me up, and I need to go with somebody else, and we go to the door. So I could either say that I don't want to do that because it's my friend,
Yeah.
or I could be like, you know what, I'm gonna go. So when I go, I have to separate myself. I have to be like, I'm not your friend. I'm just here for business, kind of
Do
thing.
your job.
Compartmentalize and be
Yeah.
Do your job.
objective,
Yeah.
true towards it.
That's it.
Mm.
Some of us could do it, some of us can't. But when you do it, people might look at you as just being cold. You know,
It depends. No,
you're
this
so cold, boy.
Sometimes you have to be cold though.
no, I'm saying cold.
Brutal. You're so brutal.
Necessary sometimes.
Because
Yeah, it's necessary.
the way I see it, yeah, all right. The way we touched on another thing, and I think I'm gonna bring this to the next podcast with my my topic.
Okay.
Anyway, so I'll say like there's four people there,
Mm.
four dynamics of human beings and emotion and interactions you can have. You have someone, number one,
Yeah.
that is all about themselves, a narcissistic person. It's all about me. I don't give a F about your emotions. It's
Yeah.
what I want. I come first.
think that-
whatever
that-
happens.
Well, anything that best suits and profits me, and you know.
Yeah, and you have the
Right, cool.
polar opposite
Yeah.
to that. You have the person that goes like, if everyone's around me is okay, I will be okay,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know how to function if anyone's around me is not okay.
That's leadership.
That is.
That's passive. That's very passive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because you rely on everyone's happiness to make you happy.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Yeah.
way? No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then you have we have another person that experiences emotions. They know what emotion it is, but they don't know how to express that emotion in a healthy way at all, my G. So you might feel sadness. As soon as you feel sad, leave me alone. Just leave me alone. Let me just go by myself. I don't want to talk to
They
anyone.
call them dark empaths.
Yeah.
You got people that are empaths, and then they got dark empaths. Can't remember. I saw something on TikTok, but I
Yeah.
see a lot of things on TikTok these days.
Mm.
Okay. So you have that person. Yeah. So you have all about me, The opposite to that is it's all about you. Whatever I do, I have to make myself. Then you have the person that doesn't know how to make themselves feel happy at all, unless I'm sorry, that doesn't know how to express emotion. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the last one,
Okay, so I said 4, innit?
yeah,
So that's
3.
3. I can't remember the third one. I can't remember the third one for now. But these main 3, when you're interacting with people,
Yeah.
excuse me, you have to be conscious of who you are.
Yeah.
If you fit into them in them categories, because if you don't care about people's emotions, sorry, and you have the person that is aware of the other person, how things might make them feel,
Yeah.
and bring them even into a conversation about
Uh,
what's happening,
yeah.
having a balanced interaction.
Mm.
You understand?
Mm.
So when you bring mental health and thing like that, when you're prioritizing yourself and your mental health and your mental well-being, and something's affecting you, and you think it's going to have a toll on your mental health, you need to have that confidence and say, look, whatever's happening there is really putting me under some pressure.
Yeah.
And like it's just messing with my mental health. How about we take this conversation, like put a pin in it, and then tomorrow we talk about
Take
it.
a rain check on it.
Take a rain check on
Yeah.
it. And then when they say to you, "Oh, that's not for you to sort out, mate. What you have to do is just be assertive. Say, look, I don't want to argue. It's really messing me up.
Oh,
Yeah.
let's address this another time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I would like from you, for example, is for you to give me some space so I can sort this out, because I need to be the best version of me to give you what you want. How does that sound? So that gives them an opportunity to express what they want. And never realize when people are shouting at you and you keep calm,
Yeah.
their 9 times out of 10 their reaction will be the same.
It depends on
True.
what you drink previously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what you're aiming for. That's what you're aiming for. But if
mhm.
you only about what you want and you say to them, right, F off, like I'm gonna do this now, I don't care about you. This is what I'm gonna do. Bye. Imagine how that's making them feel.
Sure.
Sometimes it depends.
Nah, it doesn't.
Depends.
No, because think about it in the long run. If you were to say to someone, your mental health, yeah, this is affecting you, your mental health, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's person supposed to be supporting you. And you have this, you don't give a F about how they would feel if you say to them, F off.
Sometimes people just need a F off once in a while, I guess. Sometimes people need a F off.
Yeah, you need that. I'm not saying
You need a reset button,
put
you
it
need
there,
to
but
a reality check sometimes.
sometimes
You don't feel you have to do some, you don't feel you have to do some, not the healing mode, but all right.
you must have yourself. You must have your own defense.
You have your own defense, but look at this, yeah?
Yeah.
You're in a mental health crisis and you tell someone to F off. What happens after you calm down and you check yourself? What's the first thing you do when you speak to that person?
Apologize.
You probably apologize.
There you go. But it's also down to the person to realize that you're going through a mental health,
Yeah.
a time in your life where your mental health ain't that good. So hopefully they don't take that F off as
it's
being
true.
personal.
True.
You know,
And
they could if they're a really good friend, or if they really love you and care about
You'll
you,
understand.
they will be like, all right, I'll go swallow that.
Oh no,
I'll go swallow that.
that's
you know,
you.
and
That's
I'm gonna
got
take that. I'm gonna take that personally, and I know that you really didn't mean that, and this and that, and he'll come back and come back 100%, come back, and then we could discuss it.
Or even just saying that alone might really tell him that, yeah, you're in a serious place.
Everyone's mental health
You
is
need some-
different,
you
and
need
like
some
I was saying.
Yeah.
But
mental health is like the lottery.
we talk about a lot about
Too many combinations.
mindfulness and so on. Including in well-being. I think when it comes to well-being also, that I think what we put in our body, has a lot to do with our mindfulness.
Yeah.
And
He says,
He
says why he's drunk 2 glasses of Bounty. And
My
only
glass
2
is
glasses,
nice,
only 2
right?
glasses, so we're fine. It's not like 3 bottles, so it's okay. But my thing though, you when you when you feed your body, you don't just feed your body with food.
No.
You feed your body through your senses. So tongue, of course, you taste the food. That's nutritional value.
or pork.
You feed your body
Pork nice.
by what you see. You feed your body by what you hear, what you smell. Those type of things, the things that you feel. All these are food for your body.
Yeah.
And it can affect your mental health, not just your mindfulness, not just your what you eat, in terms of nutritional value. For instance, hearing. if you sit down, say 20 minutes in a day, and you listen to good, relaxing music, just instrumental,
Yeah,
it can put you in a bit of a
true.
calmness, peace of mind.
Yeah.
That's been proven.
Yeah.
That's proven. Yeah, music is a mood changer.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's been proven.
And
100% music is a mood changer.
put it the opposite. You sit down and you're listening to music. I wouldn't try to put it in a particular genre. But any music that talks about, shooting somebody or, whatever
Yeah,
sort of close to criminal activity it is.
not even music, shows as well.
But we're talking about hearing at the moment,
Yeah.
so it puts your mind in a certain place.
Mm.
Yeah. And if you're an individual who prone to actually accept these things easily, you see where this is going, especially
to be influenced, but that's that.
yeah,
you said about
especially the
mind.
environment that
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
in.
yeah.
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 Goes to the same as
Very
what you're
gullible.
saying.
You're talking about food. You're talking about like nourishment, like
No, because I say you feed the body in different ways.
Mm.
Nourishment is what you're taking from your tongue.
Yeah.
Nourishing.
Yeah.
But you also feed the body by what you hear.
Yeah.
So if you're not feeding the body with negative things through your hearing,
Yeah, come like these fanatics and them, they go and
Yeah.
listen to these things and then, they
you
become fanatical,
influence them.
Yeah, yeah.
easily influencing individuals.
Exactly.
So,
And depends on what you see on telly. So if you're a person, and sometimes you can almost tell a person by what they even watch and tell you. What genre they go for.
That's so
If somebody go for a comedy movie or something, you can tell you probably a light-hearted person. They
Yeah.
want to watch something that make them laugh. Somebody watching some gritty horror. I mean,
Bro, I don't trust people that watch horrors in the dark by themselves,
you see,
with no emotion, just they're looking at it like.
yeah,
I've done that a few times,
Yeah, I don't trust you.
I've watched in my room by myself and like, oh, I fancy some friends, So
yeah,
I just watch a horror by myself and
The hell with that?
then
Zombie films.
yeah.
Fast forward, watch a whole film like 10
Skip
minutes.
that.
sometimes they say if you're feeling lonely, just watch a horror by yourself. You
Yeah.
soon get plenty friends, trust me. In your
Yeah,
man,
yeah,
you'll
okay.
be like, hey, who's that? We're going on there, but hey, we're going on there.
But you're so sorry about
Yeah.
that.
But you can tell, how these things affect you, what you see.
Yeah.
And again, even go back to what we're talking about resilience. So if you're a child, you're living in certain areas of the world, what you see affects you mindfully.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Whether it's being more resilient or whether it's being less resilient because you haven't been exposed, but it still affect you anyway.
Yeah.
Again, it's how you feed your body.
Yeah.
You're saying something.
I was just saying, like, as we approach the end,
Yeah.
of the podcast today, like, if you had like a short statement for people to safeguard their mental health, to like push forward to balance their mental health, just the mental health,
Mm-hmm.
what would you say?
Yeah, I don't know, yes.
Oh, like men in particular.
In men.
Mm.
Wow. You have to love yourself before you can love others.
True.
You have
Self-love is
Yeah.
self-love is very important.
You have to love yourself before you can love other people. If it's easy for a man to put everybody forward, put your family forward, put everything forward before you,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not gonna work if you don't know how to love yourself. You can let others know how to love you, and it goes even for relationships as well. You have to know what you accept, what you don't accept, and allow people to bring that around you and tell them, hey, this is not acceptable or this is acceptable. And even in mindfulness, not just what is acceptable and what is, but mindfulness. You need to show some love for yourself. Know when to step away from situations and go and heal
Yeah.
and come back.
Take that time out.
Take a time away. Time
Take
out.
that time out and sort it
I
out.
need a time out
Mm-hmm.
before I can raise this roof.
Exactly.
In pieces, I need a time out.
Yep.
The people around you needs to understand.
Yeah.
And this is where I say you have to love yourself before you love others. Because
You
if
need to be
people,
you need to be a little bit selfish in life, period.
yeah, and if you people around you don't understand, it goes back to you again. You have to love yourself. Realize people around you don't understand you. What do? That's your decision.
What about you,
I gotta
Jay?
tell people what to do.
What about you, Jay?
Me? Life is life. Don't take things too seriously. You know, don't believe everything you see on TV, social media, especially for these younger generation. Because what you see on TV and social media ain't what's what ain't what is going on in the real world.
Reality.
You know, ain't what going on in reality. So, as Marcus said, love yourself. You know, have the courage to be able to take that time out.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
have the
yeah.
courage to be like, yo, I need this space. You know, because if I don't get the space, then things ain't gonna happen.
Mm.
You know, and if people don't understand that and they still want to push, then you need to make that executive decision to be like, all right, cool, you ain't good for me, so I need to
Make a decision.
need to
Make a
bounce.
decision.
Mhm.
You know, if people are generally selfish. You know, human beings are generally selfish. So,
So
but
you
you
gotta be
just need
selfish
to.
sometimes.
You need to be selfish, man.
Mm.
In life, you need to be selfish at times.
You say selfish or more self-aware?
Selfish. You need to be selfish at times.
Self-aware, then
Yeah,
selfish.
self-aware and selfish. You know,
So once
sometimes
you're
you need to be a bit of
things that
both.
affect you from being self-aware, sometimes you have to make a selfish decision.
Yeah,
Or self-preserving decision?
Well, yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, self-preservation. Yep, that's very true.
But I'm not telling anybody to.
But hold on, yeah. Hold on.
rash decisions.
I haven't given mine yet.
No,
You just
no.
talk over me.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying to.
Go on,
do any
Charles.
nonsense. Go ahead, sorry.
I don't have nothing to say now.
No,
No, I was just saying like no, I agree with what the two of you were saying, man. I think with to protect your mental health, and it's very unique. Everyone's situation is unique to them, and whatever works for you, you have to protect your mental health as best as you can. And there's help out there for people, and you are empowered, and you have it in you to access that help, because the greatest apology you can make to yourself is to change your behavior, and everyone has that in them. And I always say to the people I worked with, I said to them, like, when you speak to clients and they come to you and they want to change their behavior, they want to improve their mental health, and they want help with something, you have to watch your words really carefully, because it takes that one statement to turn someone into a negative headspace and then they do something terribly, or it takes that one statement to empower them to make the change. So it's very important, like, you do that self-preservation. You think you're becoming overwhelmed with something, take that time out as best as you can. If you feel like, you know, that something's, not going to end well for you within an interaction, you have it in you, especially men. I'm looking at men to say no. And don't be worried about how the other person takes it. You were assertive.
Yeah.
You saw what the end result would be,
At the end, they need to
negative
respect
consequence,
it, innit?
and you
need
walked
to
away
respect
from
it.
it. And that takes guts.
It does.
You know what I mean? So you have it in you, people. So just take that time.
It does.
Check on your mental health. Take that mindfulness break. Even during your lunch when you're having your cheese sandwich. Yeah. Do some deep breathing. Have your little juice and that. And then go back into your work. Oh yeah, and do not eat at your desk when you're having lunch as well. Leave the office.
Go away.
You worker men and them.
Go away.
Yeah?
I like to eat by my desk.
Yeah,
Because well, shit. Let's knock that camera.
that's all right.
I like to eat by my desk because a lot of these times people leave the office, so I'm just there by myself, and I like to be by myself.
That's fat, man. You have to step away from the environment, bro.
I could understand that, but sometimes I just take myself out of it mentally.
Well, that's your mindfulness break there, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
man.
could be sat in the office and I'm not there. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
Good stuff, man. Right, people. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe, guys. Just check out Rum Reason. We are on Instagram as well. The Facebook account. Are we opening a Facebook account? Maybe. Yeah. So check out Rum Reason. Support us. If you have any topics, make sure you put them down in the comments below. Message us on Instagram. If you do want a shout out or a plug, like they say, let us know. It'll cost you a bottle of rum. Yeah, and we'll have a conversation that everyone will enjoy. Yeah, Mac, you have anything to say to the people?
You want to see me drink rum? It's my topic.
Tell them a topic.
If you want to see me drink rum, send me a topic.